Hey, welcome to part two of Emotional Intelligence. I am your group host, NJ Stevenson. I'm an online business manager and project manager, as well as commercial photographer based in Dallas, Texas. So I'm doing this series, and we had a blast yesterday with our guest, Amy Smith from the Brand Creative, was on with us today. I'm solo, and we're going to talk about 15 keys to smashing emotional intelligence for your life and your business. Things you can do, little things you can do to make sure that you're on track, because that's what's important, right? Is that you have a life that's healthy for you, and then that you're able to service your clients in a healthy way as well. So that's what we're talking about today. We'll give you these 15 keys, and a lot of times it kind of sounds like something you don't need, but I need it. We all need this like thing going on, and we need it to be healthy, and we need not to be overtaken with fear and overtaken with self-doubt and all of this kind of stuff. So before I get started on these 15 keys to rock your life and your business as it relates to emotional intelligence, I want to welcome our new members to Virtual Service Provider Odyssey. And as always, thank those that have been members for a while. I am going live earlier, so if you are joining in live, you can type down below any questions that you have, because I'm monitoring the thread in the group. Any questions that you have, or if you don't have questions, let me know where you're watching from down in the comments, whether you are live or on the replay, okay? Yesterday we kind of talked about gauging and knowing triggers, and we're going to reiterate some of that today because it's really, really important in making sure that you're moving forward in a good way in life and in business. I just wanted to make sure that I hadn't lost the live stream. So we're going to get started on this as I'm going. And even if you're on the replay, if you have any questions, pop them down below and I will get back to them. But let's get started. The first thing is pay attention to how you feel. And we talked about the 5 pillars or qualities of emotional intelligence being self-awareness, controlling yourself, having that ability to control your emotions, motivation, social media skills, and let's go back and get those again. Empathy, having those active in your life. Being self-aware, are you aware of how you're feeling? And I've discovered through working with people throughout the years in a different capacity, sometimes people don't know how they feel and they don't stop to sort that out. And you may be thinking, well, what does this have to do with business? Everything to do with business, especially for us that are working from home. When you go to a place of employment, they give you an employee handbook. And inside of that handbook, it has governing policies for working with your coworker. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Well, some of it is what we call common sense. But we're working in an online sphere, right? And there's nobody to give you an employee handbook. There is no employee handbook. You are the employee handbook. You're it. And so you have to be able to be aware of what's going on with you, the things that come out of your mouth, the things that you say, how you're dealing with people, whether you're being rude to people, things like that. Because you had this, for those that worked in a corporate environment, you had this resource that had the governing rules of, hey, you don't have this kind of conversation. You don't say this kind of thing to your coworker. You don't do X, Y, Z, da, da, da. And so now you don't have that. And that's totally up to you. So in order to facilitate that same thing within your team, right, within the team that you're working with, from you to client, which is business to business, because your business, your client is also a business, then you have to have that self-awareness and that ability to regulate your own self, how you feel. But in order to regulate how you feel, you've got to know how you feel. So that's the first key, is being aware. Awareness is so important. Taking that minute just to stop and say, well, how do I feel about that? Some people use meditation to do that. Talked about that yesterday. Meditation, prayer, a walk in the park, whatever your thing is. How do I feel about that? Asking yourself that question. Paying attention to how you respond and react. Are you actually paying attention to yourself? How did you respond to that thing? Not just to give you an example. Someone did something and I was having a conversation with them and I asked them about their response. I said, did you think before you responded? No, I didn't think before I responded. Why not? Well, it just came. No, it didn't just come. That's what we have to realize. It doesn't just come. There is an actual thought process that happens prior to any action that we take. There's a thought process that precedes that. We may not be aware that the thought process is happening. That takes us back again to being self-aware, but we think and then we act. We think and then we act. So, and then the third thing is asking yourself why. Why do I feel this way? Why did I react that way? Why did I take this course of action? Why? Drill down in it. That's our third key. Why? And then the fourth one is own your stuff. Boy, that's huge. That's huge. And I see that a lot, not just in the virtual sphere, but I'm a photographer as well. And then also just in life in general, when something happens, a lot of people become victims. And I'm like, you're actually not a victim. You contributed to this thing. You actually did something that helped this incident or this thing or this situation to happen. You have to own that. And once you own what you did that opened the door to this, then you can handle it better. You can use your self-awareness and ask yourself why, and you can fix it. And here's why this is really important for us as virtual service providers too, because sometimes it's our processes and procedures that open the door for these other things to happen. Like there's a hole in it, or there's a kink in it, or something that needs to be worked out or customized for a particular client, right? So instead, we blame them for it when we have to have what I call discernment to know that, yes, I've got my processes and procedures outlined and they work great for 99 of my clients. But my 100th client, I need to tweak just this one little thing because they've got this unique situation that I need to apply customer service to. So yeah, and then own it. Own it, own it, own it. That communication has to be in place to recognize that this thing needs to happen. And if it doesn't work out smoothly, just own it. Apologize to your client, try to salvage the situation, try to bring resolution to it. So you have to own your stuff. And then the fifth key is, remember, we're doing 15 keys for rocking emotional intelligence in your life and in your business. Don't ignore negative thoughts and feelings. Now, I'm talking about NJ. I am not an affirmation person. I know a lot of people are. I'm not an affirmation person because for me, saying something and not believing it or making application of it just doesn't work in my life. You can say anything you want. That's what abuse is. People abuse people, apologize, say they're sorry, and then turn around and abuse them again. And a lot of times we abuse ourselves by affirming things that we actually don't take time to start believing. So it's kind of manipulative to our own selves. You can say something until you start believing it, if that's the way that you process, but that doesn't work for everyone. So I'm not an affirmations person, right? It says, don't ignore negative thoughts or feelings. I'm more the person that's going to say, I'm feeling some kind of way, right? Today, I'm feeling some kind of way, and I'm going to stop and see what way that is. I'm going to ask myself, why am I feeling that way? And what can I do about it? Or what should I be doing about it? How is it impacting my circle, whether it's business circle, family circle, whatever kind of circle it is, what impact is this having? Because sometimes our negative thoughts and feelings are having a ripple effect in life and in business, right? Recognize and celebrate the positives. So it's cool to recognize and celebrate the positives. Just do it. Celebrate. I said earlier today in the group that, I really don't like the same old post using, the scheduler to give you the same post every week after week. But I do like celebrating weekly wins because I think they need to be recognized. We focus a lot on in our culture in general, the news, we're just inundated with the negative every single day. So it's totally awesome to celebrate our wins, to really celebrate those wins. Seventh key, it's a journey, not an overnight thing. It really is a journey. It's a process, right? It's a journey. Allow yourself time to take the journey. You can impose this thing where you need to be perfect and have it all together and know what you're doing immediately and compare yourself to this person, and it doesn't work. This really is a journey. We're learning every day, we're growing every day, we're evolving, and we get a little bit at a time. In fact, my head would explode if I tried to do it all at once. So, because we're people. You have to know how to refresh yourself, right? How to take those necessary breaks so that smoke doesn't start coming out of your ears and you don't go on somebody. And yeah, you have to do all. This is a journey, and it's supposed to be step by step by step, not, hey, I've got it all together. I started this business. I've got it all together. I'm rocking it. Even people who come into the virtual sphere and they get their business up and going and they are a huge success, they're going to hit bumps in the road. They're going to plateau. Eventually, they're going to plateau. Most of the time, it happens at a financial point, and you have to push past that point because we all have that. I'm at this point, you can say I'm at this point and I've been consistent at this point, and now I want to go to the next level. How do I get to the next level? It doesn't matter, what point you're at. That's just the nature of the thing, is you have to push past certain plateau points or growth points. Otherwise you get stuck. So it's a journey, and you have to take the journey step by step. The 8th thing is practice stepping outside of yourself. That's my husband's phrase. He says he steps outside of himself. In other words, that just means be objective. Be objective, which is a challenge for some people because it's so easy to see other people and more challenging to see ourselves, or to step back and say, you know what, I could have done better, or I could have handled this differently, or I could have spoken to them more professionally. I could have, I knew the client was headed down the wrong path. I didn't say anything, whatever the case is. Yeah, totally step outside of yourself, be objective, and do the thing. The 9th thing is understand what excites you. I actually have someone, when I ask them, well, what do you enjoy? They say, I don't know. Well, what do you enjoy doing? I don't know. Well, what if you tried to do? Nothing. Well, what do you enjoy doing? Nothing. I don't know. Explore that and know what excites you, because this is often how people get started, especially in the virtual sphere, photography too, and they do something that they really don't enjoy, and then they burn out real quick. I told you guys I did that with social media because I wanted to try it out. I thought it would be something that I enjoy, but I'm not a tasker. Posting, it was social media posting, and I didn't enjoy it. Not at all. I didn't enjoy it at all. So find out what excites you, understand what excites you, and follow that path. And by exciting, I don't mean that you're getting all warm and fuzzy and giddy over it. I mean, you need to enjoy what you're doing if you want to continue doing it. I've been doing photography over 15 years. People get cameras every single year, right? Because Sam's and Costco sells bundles. They get a camera, they open a business. By January, this is the truth. In January, tons of new photography businesses open because people got a bundle, but they don't sustain. They're here for the first 1 to 3 months, and then they're gone. I mean, like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I actually enjoy photography. I enjoy it. It is, as they say, something that I would do even if I didn't get paid for it. Yeah. So it's something that I enjoy. Slow down to speed up. And sometimes, or you could use the terms, take a step back, go forward. Sometimes you need to take that moment, right? Take that moment and do what they call taking a step back. But for me, it's slow down to speed up is how I normally phrase it. Slow down, take time to reassess, take time to look at the thing, and then you can go forward, and you can go forward faster because you've stopped to work out the kinks that were holding you up. Know your triggers. We all have them. Everybody got triggers. Everybody got some triggers in life. What sets you off? What gets on your nerves? What is irksome to you? What are your personal triggers in business? Like, you guys know I'm doing the marketing with Landon of Guerrilla Marketing, and one of his things that he doesn't like is for people to be late to meetings. That's going to set him off. He doesn't like that. I have my own thing, and mine is more centered around communication, not writing and having punctuation in the right place and things like that. For me, I have this huge thing, and I'm really trying to work through it right now. It's a trigger for me of, if I ask a question, I want an answer to the question, but I'm learning through social media that people just don't answer questions anymore. Like, you'll ask a question and they will tell you everything else but the answer to that question. Drives me crazy. So for clients that can't answer questions, that would be a problem, because that's not how I work. If I say, well, what color would you like the logo? I want them to tell me what color they would like the logo, not, well, when I was 5 years old, I used to love the color blue, and now I'm 30 and I'm not sure that I enjoy blue anymore. What color would you like the logo? So you have to know your own triggers. Choose to get over it. This is a huge one. Huge. Make a decision to get over it. You actually have to make a decision to get over it, right? You do, because you can hold on to things like forever and ever, and we're all wired differently. Some people get over things really quick, and some people ruminate and ruminate and ruminate and hold grudges and ruminate and hold grudges. I'm one of those kind of people. I'm like, okay, that happened, that thing happened, get over it. I talked yesterday about subcontracting with the person that I just did a branding session with, and we went our separate ways. It just was over, right? Get over it. Get over it, move on, and be able to go to the next stage peaceably. And the 13th key is earn trust, don't expect it to be given. We're online. Why should people trust you? They don't even know you. You don't know them either. It works both ways. And I've talked about this in the group before, is especially with virtual service providers, we kind of have this thing where we want the client to trust us and pay us in advance. And clients are getting taken too for their money, because there are virtual service providers that actually don't come through with the service that they agreed to do. This door swings both ways, right? So we want to be trusted. We say, hey, give us your money prior to service being rendered. Give us the money, and we're going to do it. Yet at the same time, we have to understand that they are having an experience also on the other side where people are ghosting them. So it has to be, where you're understanding and you earn the trust, however that works out. Have reasonable goals. These are all things that are emotional intelligence that are going to help you rock your life and rock your business. Goals. Setting some big, huge goal that you won't meet, and sabotaging yourself, like setting yourself up for failure. Bite-sized goals that lead to the big picture. Bite-sized goals. daily goals, weekly goals that lead to the big picture. Little bits. What steps will it take for me to get here? And the reason this falls under emotional intelligence is still going back to self-awareness. A lot of overwhelm that we're seeing in the virtual sphere is it's self-inflicted overwhelm, because you really don't have to do it the way you're doing it. And it's self-inflicted, and it creates that problem and that stress level and that anxiety. I got to get it done. I got to get it done this way and by this timeline. Break it down, do implementation, be strategic with it, and make it happen. You can't get it all done at once, and that's just stressing you out. And because it's stressing you out, it's impacting your life and it's impacting your business. Yeah. And then the 15th is your thought life can be changed, which is super huge, because most people think, hey, if I'm this way, then I'm going to always be this way. We talked yesterday because Rigel posted that she had heard of emotional intelligence with children, and there are thought processes and different things you'll find on out there in a search that say adults can't do anything with emotional intelligence. But we talked yesterday that a lot of companies are currently incorporating this into company information processes, because you're capable of change. It doesn't matter how old you are, how long you've been in business, what level of business you are. You are obviously capable of changing your mind. Changing your mind. That's all it is. You're capable of thinking differently. And so you have to tell yourself, you know what, I'm capable of thinking differently. So I have people, because you guys know I mentor and I coach, I can see someone's on. I have people that say to me, well, I've always been this way, or I've always done this thing. And I'm like, well, aren't you capable of change? Just because you've always done something or always been a certain way does not mean that you're not capable of change for the better. You are. You just have to choose to be. You just have to choose to do differently and work on it. Put that into practice. Like, put it into practice. If you start feeling something, because we're talking about being self-aware, right? You start feeling something, you say, you know what, to that person, let's say you're with a person, to that person, I need a minute. I need a minute. Even if it's a client. Even if it's a client and you start feeling some kind of way, something's going on between you and the client, then you can let the client know, I will be thinking about this and I'll contact you again on XYZ date. That's how you're going to problem solve with that. That's going to give you that time to step outside of yourself and go and do some self-regulation on how you're feeling, so that you don't like on that client. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So let me run through these again. Number 1, pay attention to how you feel. That's self-awareness, right? Pay attention. How are you feeling? Are you getting upset with a client because they didn't give you the information that you requested? Are you getting upset with them? You're so upset with them now that you're not going to send that follow-up email. You're going to penalize them. I'm not going to even send this email because I already asked them for it and they're not giving it to me. We're just done. So yeah, that kind of stuff. We're done. So pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to how you respond. How are you responding? And are you responding or are you reacting? There's a difference. There's a difference between the two. Ask yourself why. So I was having this conversation yesterday, and then Amy and I were talking yesterday as well. I'm huge on why. I ask myself why a lot. Like, well, why are you doing that? Well, why do you want that? Well, why haven't you done this? Even, we talked about it before. Asking yourself why you are procrastinating helps. Why are you procrastinating? I found out that sometimes I will do a photography session, and there's something about that particular set of images that the images are great, and they're probably exactly what the client wants, because my clients pick their own images. I allow them to fully participate in the session, so what they get is exactly what they requested. That doesn't mean I have to love it, because I don't always love what they love, right? We're different people. I don't always love what they love. I don't always love the colors that they love. I don't, different things. We just have different taste. But I don't get excited about editing those images. And then I procrastinate. And I've learned that about myself because I'm like, why haven't I done this? I need to edit these images, but I'm not feeling that excitement that I would normally feel. Clients in love with the images. They're happy. I gave them exactly what they wanted. It's just the creative me wanted something different, you know? So, and of course, my goal is to make them happy, as an example. So ask yourself why, not just for the good things, but for the other things. If you're a procrastinator, still talking about emotional intelligence, that self-awareness, that self-regulation, it all feeds back into your business. Why are you procrastinating? What's holding you up? What's going on in here that's causing you not to go ahead and get this funnel built? I'm having to challenge myself in that area, right? Because I know I talked earlier about being, online business manager. I know I need to get this funnel work done. I know I need to get some marketing pieces written, but I've been procrastinating. So now I have to ask myself, what's your problem? What is your problem? Why aren't you doing this? You have the time to do it. Why haven't you done it? And I have to challenge myself that way of why I haven't done it. So it's really been an exciting week for me to have that mental breakthrough and to make the decision that I'm about to move forward with getting my marketing pieces done for that. So one was pay attention to how you feel. The second thing, pay attention to how you respond or react. Ask yourself why. Be big on that one, seriously. Own your own stuff. That's a hard thing for some people because we live in I'm a victim a society that always wants to play the victim role. Some stuff is, no other way to say it, your fault. It really is. It's things that you open the door to. Nobody, people are like, well, don't say that. That's just rude. Some stuff is my fault. It's my fault. I should have done something differently. I created the situation. It's my fault. So the fifth thing is don't ignore negative thoughts or feelings. Take that time, stop and deal with those thoughts and feelings. Recognize the positives. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate your victories. Celebrate other people. Refer other people. Give value. All of this relates back to our business as a part of emotional intelligence. It really does something for you when you can celebrate something. Give yourself a little pat on the back and say you did a great job. It's okay. It's not bragging. It's not being unhumble. It doesn't have to roll over into arrogance or thinking you're this or that. You can just be excited that you got it done, and it's okay. You can be excited that the client is pleased. It's okay. It's okay to celebrate those wins. So the seventh thing is recognize this as a journey. Don't try to do everything at once. It doesn't work. It just causes overwhelm. When you try to do too much too fast, you get overwhelmed. So if you break it out, step it out into bits and pieces, if that's not something you do well, get some help. Get some help if you don't do it well on your own, because some people don't. You see the goal, right? You know this thing has to be done for your business. I'm going to use my funnel process because you guys know funnels are different moving parts, right? You've got the whole email sequence on the back end. You've got the front end work that has to be done. So I'm going to use that as an example. The reason I've procrastinated is because it's got so many parts to it. But my goal now that I've made up my mind, I've dealt with myself and I've made up my mind to do it, is to use the simplest, easiest funnel that I can do. Like, I don't want all those moving parts. So how can I simplify it? And that's what caused the procrastination for me. But I got there, emotional intelligence, by asking myself why. NJ, you have the tools. I own everything I need already to make it happen. I got all my programs. I've always had the programs. What in the world is taking you so long to get this done? What's your problem, NJ? Yeah. Okay, so it's a journey. That's number 7. The 8th thing is practice stepping outside yourself, or be objective. Like really, be objective about it. Understand, this is the 9th thing. Understand what excites you and go for that thing. Find those things that you're passionate about. I can speak on that because I'm really, how do I say, how this whole introvert and extrovert thing goes. I don't really consider myself either an introvert or an extrovert at all. I don't like peopling in the sense of hanging out. I don't mind talking to people and I don't mind having intellectual conversations with people, but I'm not the type of person that wants to hang out. I don't want to hang out. Never have been. So understand what excites you. The 10th thing is slow down to speed up. And all that means, again, is sometimes you need to say, you know what? I'm going to step away from this. I'm going to step back from this. I'm going to halt what I'm doing because it doesn't seem to be coming together. And maybe I'm missing some critical pieces that I didn't see because I'm in too big of a hurry, or I'm trying to get this thing out to market and I'm moving too fast. And I like my idea. I'm going to do my idea, but something's not right. Step back and breathe. Take a deep breath, step back, and look at it again. We talked about PDSA. If you haven't seen that video, it's in the group. Plan, do, study, act. Plan it. Do a soft, they can call it soft launch. Call it whatever you want. Do it. Study it. Tweak it. And then act on it again. We have a video in the video section about that. PDSA, plan, do, study, act. So I'll try to link that video as well so that you can see that's a part of the process. It's a part of keeping us emotionally intelligent so we don't get overwhelmed and all of those things, is understanding it's plan, do, study, act. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's going to come together the first time. It's just a process. The 11th thing is know what triggers you, know what sets you off, know what aggravates you, know what's not acceptable to you, know what you don't want to deal with among clients. I see a lot of posts in the virtual service groups where people are saying clients are talking to them like they're not business owners. They don't feel respected. You have to know these things and pair yourself with people. And if they're treating you that way, then you have to deal with it. Not just in the sense of posting in a Facebook group, but saying, hey, we need to have a meeting. I'm a business owner and you can talk, you can speak up for yourself. Now, either when we're not going to work together if this type of behavior is going to continue. And most people, not most, I'm sorry, some people fear that they're going to get a bad review if they do that. You have to decide which is more important. If they give you a bad review, would you trade that for having somebody just totally disrespect you? You have to decide that. I am so open to bad reviews. I'm totally open to them. Bring them on, because you're not going to talk to me crazy. So, yeah, we will respect each other. And again, so know what excites you, know your triggers, choose to get over it. If you get offended, first of all, offense is a choice. We're talking emotional intelligence, being self-aware, self-regulating. Offense is a choice. You don't have to get offended. But if you do, you can choose to get over it. Pretty simple. Earn the person's trust, have reasonable goals, and you are in charge of your thought life. It can be changed. It totally can be changed. I see 2 comments here, so let me visit those comments. This is Akila said, so true. I had to start taking responsibility in things. It is my fault. That is hard to say sometimes. It is hard to say sometimes, but I think because we're talking about emotional intelligence, if we start owning our stuff, we can do so much better in business. We really can do better in business if we own it. Great information. I do need to try my mindset. I can be stubborn. Ah, I probably we're all stubborn in some type of way, you know. I know I am. So it's really up to us. So again, those qualities of emotional intelligence are self-awareness, self-regulation, which to me that is really huge because my experience having mentored over the years is people let their emotions run their entire life. I feel this way. That made me feel this way. No one can make you feel any type of way. They really can't. They can say things with the intention of, or they can do things with the intention of making you feel some type of way, but they can't actually make you feel any kind of way. That's your decision and your choice. And I know it's pretty strong for me just to come out and say that, but if I could tell you guys a lot of the things that have happened in life and the choices can be made to not feel some kind of way. Yeah, they really can. And I speak from personal experience, not what I've heard, but from personal experience. So you can choose not to feel a certain way. You can choose not to respond a certain way. You can choose not to react a certain way. You can take your power back from someone that's like egging you on and just poking you. I hate Facebook pokes. Y'all know that little feature on Facebook where people are poking? I can't stand that thing. I'm like, why in the world would you poke me? Why would you poke me? I just wish I could take it off. Ugh. So yeah, you can choose how you react or respond to a poke in life and in business, because you are going to have clients that poke you. I'm going to poke you to see if you really know what you're doing or if you're paying attention, and how you respond and react to that is totally up to you. Totally. So you've got motivation, first of all, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and your social skills are the pillars that you want to work on to strengthen your emotional intelligence for life and business. Thanks for joining. For those of you, she said, Akila said she hates that poke too. I don't understand why it even exists. It's one of the most ridiculous things ever. There is a course for those of you that want to work through your processes and procedures and your packages for your business. There is a course, and the bonus in that course is Trello with clients. Even if you don't prefer Trello, it does give you another option to use it for your personal thing, or when you have that client that is not tech savvy. Eventually you're going to get one. If you don't work with clients inside of any portal, because some people use email, which I discourage, but some people do prefer just going straight email or messenger, both of which I don't prefer, then you can use Trello for yourself. Either way, if you don't choose to use Trello, the information still works inside of Asana, Teamwork, any other platform. Just you would just take it and tweak it for that particular platform. So that is available. Thank you for joining. Thank you all for joining, those that were able to tune in. And again, welcome to our new members. If you have any questions, comments, anything, there's a ton of information, at least 36 to 40 hours of information in the video section, like a lot. There's also my download, which is going to be going away. So if you'd like to grab it now, because now that I've gotten past my procrastination with this funnel, I'm about to change up some things. So if you haven't grabbed the subcontracting guide and the getting, quick start guide, now's the time to get it. And you can get those by visiting the master album in the group. It's the pinned post in the group, and you can grab those before I take them down, because I do have a goal to take them down. I am going to revamp them, but they're not going to be as robust, because I've given away inside of that download a whole at least 8 hours of research that you won't have to do. It's just there. It's just there. So it makes life a lot easier. But I'm going to hop off. Thank you all for joining in the call today. And yeah, this is NJ, and I've just started my new chat with NJ. I actually have a page for it. So I will be doing little things like this on mindset because this is something I've been doing for years. I'm just now bringing this to the virtual sphere. It's something that I love and I'm really passionate about as well, because we can change. We really can. And we can grow, not just in, oh, what platform do you use, or oh, this, that, or the other. We can evolve as people, and we need that for our businesses as well. So, all right, guys, you all have a great one. Talk later.